And we're live. Yes, I realized that I did not pre-announce the fact that I was going live this evening. I decided that I had looked over all the things that I needed to be apprised of to actually go live on YouTube, and I decided that I looked at enough stuff. Hopefully, we'll find that I was not in error and I don't have like a brain freeze and suddenly forget something that was very important to what we were talking about. I do realize that because I did not pre-announce this appearance, that some people may be receiving some notifications that I'm actually live and that I'm actually online talking, particularly about the women's event. But that's okay, because from what I understand, this recording will be live for some time. And people, when they receive notifications, if they decide, hey, man, that sounded pretty good, I wish I was there, they can always go back and click the link. As it stands right now, I did not pre-announce this recording. I'm recording live, and I'm not certain if anyone's on, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started anyway, because that was the sole purpose of me going live, because I didn't want to have an audience. I just wanted to publish the information. So what information are we talking about? Every year I create an event that I do to empower women with some personal protection skills. Approximately 9 years ago, I saw a very distressing and disturbing news program on my local news here in Detroit. And in this news program, it documented, about a woman who was killed. Basically, she was assaulted, raped, disrobed, and her body was discarded on the street as if she was trash. And I really felt that that was an evil thing for someone to do. And I really thought that someone should do something about that. And that image haunted me. It stayed with me for a while. And I talked with a few people about this particular news story, and we commiserated together that, yeah, it's a world that we live in, that unfortunately there are bad people out there who are willing to harm their fellow citizens. In this case, harm women. And after thinking, man, you know what, somebody should do something about this. It wasn't too long where I had an idea. And this idea was to go to a local gun range and see if I could get them to partner with me, to see if they would be willing to donate their gun range for a community service event. And for some ranges, it was an interesting idea, but they didn't really see anything in it for them. And that's okay, because, in the end, the best possible result occurred. I talked to a lot of gun range owners, and a lot of managers of a lot of different gun ranges. And I was rebuffed and sent packing. But at the end of the day, I did find a gun range that was willing to partner with me, that believed in what I was doing, and they really wanted to see this program succeed. So what I did was I contacted some fellow firearms instructors that I know. And that's a story in of itself. But in short, I've always made it a business decision that I would not be hostile, if you will, towards other firearms trainers, that we're all in this thing together with regards to training people on how to take on a more active role in their personal protection. And I was able to find fellow like-minded firearms trainers who believed that I did, that women being attacked is a bad thing and that someone should do something to empower them. So I found a gun range to donate the use of their gun range for my event. I was able to find some fellow firearms instructors who were willing to donate of their time and to be part of this project. And by part of this project, let me give some details of what this project was all about. I went to all of my social media presences or platforms, if you will, and I made an announcement. The announcement was that I was going to offer free training. It wasn't going to be a full-fledged concealed pistol license class. What it was going to be was essentially an introduction to firearm safety. I put the word out that if there were any women out there who were interested in learning more about personal protection, learning more about guns, specifically meeting with me and my fellow trainers, and who would be willing to receive a free shooting lesson, that they would be trained. This event would be free of charge. There would be no boundaries to entry. That is, all that the woman needed was a desire to learn more about guns and more about the role that firearms play in personal protection. And I will say, I was very optimistic about the program. I had visions in my mind that I was going to literally train hundreds of women in one day. And to my surprise, I did have women come out to the gun range on that day for me and my fellow firearms to train them. We had approximately 50 women come out and take us up on our program. And it was a good thing. It was a great thing to do. 50 women received a free shooting lesson, received a free range safety briefing, received more information about guns and personal protection and firearm safety and how to actually use that gun at a gun range. So it was a great thing. It was a far cry from the hundreds of women I had dreams of training in one day, but you know what they say, Rome was not built in a day. But I talked about what me and our the fellow trainers, what we accomplished, what we did on that day, and received a lot of positive encouragement. I will say, deep down in my heart of heart, in my head, I was thinking, man, 50, that wasn't really, a whole heck of a lot of women. But as I talked with other people, they were keeping me encouraged. They were telling me, hey, man, it was a great thing to do, to partner with the gun range and to invite women to come out to that facility and to offer them a free range safety briefing and a free shooting lesson, offer them free use of a gun, provide ammo, and provide them with one-on-one supervision in a gun booth to make sure that they were safe and that they had all of their questions answered. That was a good thing. And so I took heed with that, and I decided to continue on with the program. And it was the very next year that I built upon the success that we had that first year. And that next year we were able to convince 100 women to take part in the program. So within, the course of a year, doubled, the rate of participation. You start from 50 and you make it to 100, and just kept going. I felt that this program was only scratching the surface in terms of what was possible. And so after that first year of training, just 50 women at first year, and then doubling it the second year to 100, and then we increased it to 200, and then we went to 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. Last year, me and my fellow firearms trainers, we pulled off an amazing accomplishment. We trained over 800 women, exactly 817 women, on how to safely operate a firearm, and it was a great thing. And so, building upon the success of that program, onward and better and higher, we are going to proceed. And I have had it established as a goal that this year that I would train an unprecedented number of women this upcoming year. This year, my goal is to train 1,000 women. Yes, that number is correct. 1,000. We're going to train 1,000 women how to operate a firearm in one day. And to put on an event of this magnitude, suffice it to say, I definitely could not do this by myself. There are going to be literally an army of manpower assisting me. There are going to be at least 100 firearms trainers who are going to be partnering with me to donate their time to be a part of this project. And they're doing it free of charge, and they're doing it without any expectation of any financial benefit. They're doing it because they believe in the project, and that is a really a great thing to do. The gun range that we're using, this will be their 5th year of doing this program with us. Excuse me. Excuse me. They have agreed to give free reign of their gun range. Now, one of the things that I established with this gun range when I first proposed doing it at their facility was that I wanted, zero impact to their, financial well-being. I mean, after all, they're in business and they're there to make money. So I'm thinking if it's a community service project and they're not going to get anything financially out of it, well, what could I do to not be a financial burden? And the idea came for me to ask them for their slowest day of the year, their slowest day. And their slowest day of the year, believe it or not, was Mother's Day. And you know what? I was like, well, I wasn't thinking Mother's Day, but if we had the choice between doing this event on Mother's Day to use the gun range for free or not doing the event, well, Mother's Day it is. But there were some employees, and God bless them, a couple of guys, they were there and they were like, come on, man, any day but Mother's Day. Yes, it's the slowest day. We're at work. We have all these plans that we're going to do, but man, come on, do something else. And so I got with the range and with the management and the ownership, and we determined that the following weekend, after the slowest weekend of the year, the week after Mother's Day, that would be a good day. And that was a day that everyone really seemed to be on board with. And for the last, this will be the 5th year. We've done it at Top Gun Range in Taylor. So if you happen to go into that gun range anytime in the near future from seeing this video today, you know, thank those guys for being partners with us. You know, the previous 4 years and this year, the fifth year, for really agreeing to work with us on this. As I stated before, I'm also indebted to the firearms trainers that donate of their time, you know, to forego, you know, any other activity that they could be engaged in, to be there on this day to share in the goal of empowering women. You know, you don't really have to really look too far in the news, you know, to really see what we're talking about. You know, here, if you're local to the Metro Detroit area, you already know about that story about that serial killer who killed himself when he was cornered by law enforcement, you know, just the other day. You know, this guy, you know, killed 6 people, and it come to find out, you know, he had some other involvement in some things he was doing, you know, supposedly for the benefit of local law enforcement, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, you know, serial killer, you know, there have been other violent criminals in the Metro Detroit area who've been preying upon women. And of course, there will be others in the future. And that's what this whole program is all about. It's about empowering women and giving them an opportunity to learn more about firearms. And that's the thing that many people really don't keep in mind when it comes to women receiving training and with guns. There isn't a lot of perceived places or resources for women to receive a hand, to be given advice, a place for them to go. And that's one of the things that I wanted to accomplish with this program. And one of the great things that we found that as a benefit of doing this program is that many women who attend this event every year, what they find is that when they go there and they are trained and they have this shooting experience, and in the very end, they have their target silhouette and they're hanging their silhouettes and they're taking pictures and they're posting pictures in social media, is that they're making friends, you know, right there at the gun range with other women who are in the same boat as them. And it provides an opportunity for them to at least establish a friendship with someone on the same level as she, such that if she ever wanted to go to a gun range, that she has at least one person she knows that, you know, she can coordinate, you know, a visit to the gun range. And that's what really ultimately what I like most about this program, is that not only does it provide free training for women, but it also provides an opportunity for women to meet other women and for them to get together, to link up, to connect, to make plans to go to a gun range and support one another. And that has been a huge thing that I've always kept in mind. And this year, as we look at making this event bigger and better than it has been before, you know, I hope for that synergistic quality of this event, you know, that it occurs again. And to be honest, I don't know of any other organization that is doing an event similar to this event. And if they are, they're definitely not doing it on the scale that we are doing it. You know, we've received a lot of support. You know, we've had 2 major vendors step forward to ensure that we have all the ammunition that we need. And that's the one thing, you know, that you have to take a look at when you do an event of this nature. Not only do you need the facility, the gun range itself, not only do you need the manpower, the qualified manpower, people who are actually trained, vetted, certified firearms instructors, or who have commensurate experience to be entrusted with training, a student, a woman in this case, one-on-one in a booth. But there's resources. And luckily, we found two organizations to step up. They've given us all the ammunition that we're going to need, to do this event. And when you talk about the scale, the sheer scale of this event, you're talking 1,000 women, and I'm going to have them shoot a firearm 21 times. So we're talking 21,000 rounds of ammunition that will be required to do this event. And, ammunition isn't cheap. But, that's the great thing about some great people that we have in our community. You express the need, you express the potential benefit to what it is that it's going to be a consequence of doing this event, man. And people were only too happy and only too willing to step forward. So, I now have, the ammunition that I need. And there are other things that I need, but, I'll maybe put out another video later in terms of talking about resources that I need, to further ensure that we have everything that we need to make this thing go forward. The biggest thing that I'm looking to accomplish for out of this video, one, is to let everyone know about the event. That's one of the things that I found rather amazing. One of the great things about promoting this event every year is that I've been fortunate in that I've been able to get some publicity in the news media. I've been able to parlay some connections and people that I know who have various different shows in the Metro Detroit area. And quite a few of them have been willing to bring me on the show and to talk about doing the program. And so getting the word out, has been a great benefit, for leveraging those media contacts. But you know what? I tell you, it's like, no matter how this event grows, I'm just amazed at how people find out about it, like at the very last minute, and that they wish that they had known about it, at some time before the day of the event. And then there's some people that hear about the event the day after the event or the week after the event. And I really don't know what to tell those people, oh, hey, Anton Johnson. Hey yourself, buddy. Hey, thanks for shooting the message. It's like, I didn't know. And it's like, man, it's like, wow, how did you not know? I mean, all of the local, radio appearances I did, all the local TV appearances I did, all the internet shows that I did, I'm not going to blame it on the potential beneficiaries, the women. I just accept that as a challenge. And my personal challenge is to do an even better job of communicating this event. And so to do that, to get some results I've never achieved before, I have to be willing to do things I've never really done before. And actually doing this going live event on YouTube is something I have never done before. And so by desiring to get results I have never before achieved, I have to take it upon myself as the architect, the founder of this event, the chief promoter of this event. I have to take a look in the mirror and see, well, how can I step my game up? What can I do to get more people informed about this event? And so I decided I was going to at least do this very one go live event on YouTube. Now, I haven't had much experience with going live on YouTube, and I had to invest some personal time to figure out the technical specifics on how to do it, best practices and ways of communicating. And in the end, you're never 100% ready, just like doing the women's event the first time. You're never ready. You just have to make plans and go with what you know and go for it and determine that you're not going to let, what you don't know stop you. Just entrust that you'll figure it out. Okay, let's see. I got another message here from Anton. What event? Sorry, got in late. Oh yeah, this is the free women's event that I do every year. And what this event, what it does is that it gives a free shooting lesson and a free range safety briefing for any woman that wishes to participate, that wishes to learn more about guns and their role in personal protection. We bring them in, we give them a range safety briefing, we answer all of their questions. And by the time that they're done with their range safety briefing, they'll be paired up one-on-one with a firearms instructor, and they will then line up. And when a booth becomes available, they'll go shoot. The guns will be provided free. The ammunition will be provided free. The only thing that's going to stand in the way is just having the desire, to be there. Let's see, one other comment. If you would start going live more often and build your crowds up, I'm sure you will get a good base, but you have to come on more regularly. And that's true. I will take that as a suggestion. This first maiden voyage going live on YouTube. I was thinking about making a big push in terms of making a big, to do about this event, but I said, well, this is my first time going live on YouTube. Let me just stick the big toe in the water and get started and see what lessons learned will be of benefit for me in the future going forward. See, there's another comment from Bill Ledbetter. Will you post the link to your PayPal in the video description so we can support this event? Absolutely. I will absolutely do that. As a matter of fact, I might even be able to post it right here. Let's see. http www. See. Spell PayPal correct. PAYPAL.com/Detroit CCW. Okay, yeah, I just posted the link. Donations, and donations wasn't even something that I was really thinking about, for purposes of this Go Live event. I definitely appreciate, the question being raised. That was, something I was going to, look forward to later. My sole purpose in going live right now is to just start the conversation, just to let people know that this event is ongoing. This is the 9th consecutive year that we're going to give a free shooting lesson for women. This is going to be another year in which we plan to break our record. We trained 814 women last year, and I'm very proud. Entrusted us with providing them with that free training, and onward and bigger we're going to go this year. This year, I was thinking, play it conservative. At first I was thinking, just train, 900 women. And, and then I was thinking about it, and it's like 900 women. Well, I mean, 900 is so close to 1,000. How do you say train 900 women and be so close to 1,000 and not go for 1,000? So let's go for 1,000. And it's not one of those paper targets. I mean, it's going to be a real full-fledged goal. I really want at least 1,000 women to take us up on this free training. 1,001 women. So we definitely have, the what, free training for women. And we definitely know the why. The why is because there is a need for women to have a resource to be able to go to at least give them a warm introduction, to the whole gun shooting, personal protection thing. As a firearms trainer, I train a lot of people on a regular basis on getting their concealed pistol license, but I do realize that I'm getting a message here that my connection is unstable. Okay. My connection is restabilized. So hopefully I didn't lose anyone, but, the thing is, you want to have a good environment. And one of the great things that I've been able to create is good partnerships. I have a range, Top Gun Range over in Taylor, who's agreed to partner with us. Firearms instructors who have been willing to donate of their time to assist with this program. And I am truly indebted, for their assistance because I mean, even if I wanted to personally train 1,000 women by myself, you know what? It would take at least 1,000 half hour per person. Man, it would probably take me 500 hours to do that. And as we know, there's only 24 hours in a day. So obviously I have to leverage manpower. Let's see, got another comment here. I don't know if you remember me, but you trained me. I'm from Detroit. Last year we met. We were at the 2A rally in Taylor, but I'm down to support you, brother. And I even got 2 for you to train. All right, great. You know what? And that's the thing. The thing that, I'm really focused on is I'm really focused on getting the word out. By going live. And I've fleshed out a couple of going live topics that I want to eventually put out there. I haven't quite settled on the frequency. I just wanted to get the general feel of what it's like to go live on YouTube. And you know what? The technical, educational requirements to going live are not that daunting. Basically have a message that you want to get out there. And YouTube is a good platform, and marketing of, the actual talk or what you're going to talk about on YouTube, that's another thing. But like I said, I wanted to ease into this thing. And, I figured, well, with the technological wizardry, all the stuff that goes on in the background, with the people that I'm connected to in social media, some little bell or buzzer will go off and they'll say, hey, this is Rick. Rick is actually going live. Well, some people might be like, well, hey, what in the heck is Rick talking about? Let's go see what in the world he's talking about. And I did fill in the description to let people know that I'm talking about the women's event and why it's important. So we've talked about the who, me and my volunteers and the gun range, Top Gun and Taylor, sponsors. I haven't put on a big push for sponsors right now, but a very key sponsor who was very instrumental with our event last year is going to be on board again this year. We're talking about Gun Owners of America. Gun Owners of America really enjoy being part of this event last year, and I talked with the head guy, Eric Pratt. He's going to again be in the facility. He's going to be on the grounds. He's going to be in the house, and he is going to be there all day again. And I'm very honored that he's going to be there. One of the great things that GOA did was that they gave every participant a free baseball cap with the GOA logo on it. And, they had a variety of colors, right? And when he proposed doing the baseball caps, I said, yeah, make them girly. And by girly, we had to talk about the colors. There was a straight pink, and then there was a hot pink, and then there was white, So, yeah. So on that subject, if there are sponsors out there above and beyond, the current sponsors I currently have, I've already said that I've got the gun range, Top Gun, to donate their facility. I've gotten all the ammunition I need, so I don't need to come on and ask for donations for ammo. I've got a lot of firearms instructors who have agreed to be part of the program. And by firearms instructors, I mean someone who has, the requisite training. Preferably, I prefer people who have credentials. And there's a wide variety of credentials that are being offered out there. Personally, I'm credentialed by the National Rifle Association, but I do realize that since I've been doing this event, there have been more credentialing agencies that have come on board and that people have found to be, popular. There are some people who have multiple certifications. And, that's very key, that you have qualified personnel. And many of the people that donate their time, I've had an opportunity to develop a personal relationship with them over the years, and I can personally vouch for those people. I do realize that firearms instructors get credentialed literally every weekend, in Metro Detroit. There are some people that train people to be firearms instructors, and I'm one of the people, that do that. And I'm cognizant of the fact that just because someone actually got credentialed, that if they don't necessarily have the experience, they might not be ready for, a very upfront role in this event, but on the other hand, some of them may be ready. That'll be part of my job and the job of the senior staff of this event to do a proper evaluation. And if we determine that they have the requisite training, the requisite credentials, the skill and the expertise, by all means, we will put them online and have them work as trainers for the event. And then there are some people, they just, and I'm not being disparaging, I'm just being honest. They just got their credentials, through whatever training organization, but they haven't been training for a while. And it's not a knock against them. It's just the fact that, they may not necessarily have enough experience to be online, to be a firearms trainer at this event. Make no mistake about it. If you have been credentialed, but you're relatively inexperienced, we can definitely use you in some role, in some capacity. May not necessarily be a frontline firearms instructor. And I say that for principally, this one reason. The one thing that is very important, that's very extremely important, is that although this event, it's a free training event, it's free. The only thing that a woman needs is a desire to be there. The most important thing is that even though it's a free event, is that every participant is safe, and the way that we ensure that every participant is safe, we do that by ensuring that there's qualified personnel there. Hey, got another visitor, Wayne Thomas, my man Wayne. He said, "Hey Rick," and I'm like, "Hey Wayne," and Wayne Thomas is one of those people. Wayne, I'm going to toot your horn for a minute. I've known Wayne a number of years now. We were introduced by a common friend, and Wayne and I hooked up. Man, it's been a number of years. It's been more than a few, and less than a lifetime. But Wayne and I have worked together a number of years, and Wayne is one of those guys that I can personally vouch for. I know he's been part of this women's shooting event for a number of years, and just that experience that we have working together, and the chemistry and the time that he's put in, and the level of experience and expertise that he brings to the event. I have no qualms whatsoever about having Wayne. And I'm not saying Wayne at the exclusion of anyone else. There's a ton of other people that fit that same category. But, I do realize that there are some people who will want to be a part of this event, but they may not necessarily have, the experience to really give me a good feeling that this is the event at this time for them to be a frontline firearms instructor. Now, that's not to say that we can't use you if you're not at least at a certain level, because there is always something that needs to be done. And, we've had a number of people who started at one level and they've just progressed over the years. Take my chief training officer. She has progressed to the point where she does all the actual training in the classroom setting, for all the women. And when she came to me, she was like green. I'm not gonna, talk about it too bad, but she had a fear of firearms, and it was based on some personal experiences she had with some people and their approach to firearms and the way that, I'm not going to tell her business, but there were some things that happened that led her to be fearful of firearms. And so somehow she found about me, she heard about me, and she contacted me, and she wanted to learn more about personal protection. And she took this concealed pistol license class with me. And at that point, she wasn't ready to go on to the next level. And so we would continue to meet at a gun range on a regular, ongoing basis. And my policy has always been, if you're one of my students, I mean, you got me for life. All you have to do is just get with me, and we'll work out the time and the scheduling, and we'll make that happen. And one of the great things about her, if I can toot her horn, is that when I look at that person who was fearful about guns when I first met her, to actually taking the concealed pistol license training class, and I look at the woman with the experience and expertise that she has now, I mean, she has my total confidence as a firearms trainer. She's become a firearms instructor in her own right. She's credentialed through the National Rifle Association, and has my complete confidence under a wide variety of circumstances to lead training, in her own right. And so much so that I have, with, of course, her blessing and her permission, I've fashioned this event and used her as the face of the event because she's a woman, and I wanted this event to appeal to women, and I wanted the chief training officer to be a woman. The way I see her role is I want women, when they come into the event, they sit down and they are taking into account the whole environment. Some have never been in a gun range before, and we're talking about putting guns in their hands at some point in time, even on a one-on-one basis at a gun range, and to shoot, and to see, a woman actually leading the event, is really powerful, and it's really encouraging, and it gives a lot of women a lot of confidence. If there's just one other woman that's doing something, that I want to be able to do, it's very powerful to have an example right in front of you who can relate to you with their own personal story. So, yeah, let's see. I got John Olasinki says, hey, John, how you doing, brother? Now, see, John is one of those guys who has donated of his time at this event. And he's another person that has my complete, confidence as a trainer to work at this event. And that's one of the great things about this event, man, is that even amongst the trainers, people that come out and they buy into the program, they buy into what we're doing, they buy into training women and empowering them and giving them some confidence and some skills to take it to whatever level they want. John comes from the metro Chicago area. So he actually drives from Chicago. And, if you're from the Detroit area, that's at least a 4-hour drive, depending, of course, how fast you drive. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt and assume he's doing the speed limit. But that means he's signed on 4 hours to drive here and to work the event, and then 4 hours to go back. And while I'm talking about Chicago being represented, I had another trainer, that volunteered of his time. He actually flew in from Atlanta, Georgia, another fellow firearms trainer. That's one of the great things that I like in my journey and in my path as a trainer, and the people I've come into contact with. I go to a lot of conferences and conventions and events every year. As a matter of fact, just this past February, I did a gun rights, gun safety training event in another state, and it was halfway across the country in Florida. Florida Carry invited me down to come out and be a part of this firearm event that they were in. And, you go to Florida and you make other connections with people in Florida, man. So, and it's really interesting how that thing happened, because they actually came on to, I actually came onto their radar at a gun rights policy conference 4 years ago that was in Florida. And they saw me and they thought I was a cool dude, I am cool, by the way. And we hooked up on social media and we've been following each other, and they started this program in Florida, and it's a big gun awareness, gun rights event. And they invited me to come on down to Florida, and I was glad to be there. Now, some of y'all are thinking Florida, well, that doesn't sound like too bad of a deal, but when you consider that it's still February, it still gets cold in February. It may warm up to the 50s, 60s, and maybe even 70s, but you're talking about being on a campground in a tent in February in Florida. It still goes down to 30 degrees. Yeah. And yeah, we had space heaters, hooked up to an AC connection, piping in heat into that tent, but it was still roughing it. But let's see who else we have here. We have Jay Monty, 1738. Hey, just wanted to say the video through February for Black History Month were great. I learned a lot. Thank you. Yeah, that's something else that another project that I did. I usually did it on Facebook. And for those who aren't familiar with that program, in Februaries of years past, in prior years, I took every day of Black History Month and I profiled what I felt was a significant figure in Black history, and I did a profile, and I posted it on Facebook and on Twitter and some of my other social media presences. But this year, I decided to up the ante. I made entries on YouTube. So for those of you who are familiar with me on YouTube, or if you're not familiar with my YouTube channel on YouTube, my ID is Detroit CCW. Let me spell that: Detroit CCW. You know, sometimes people, you know, and I'm not being funny, but they misspell Detroit such that it looks like Deriot. And if you spell Deriot CCW, you're not going to get DetroitCCW.com. But yeah, just to piggyback on what J. Monty 1738 said, you know, that was a program that I did years ago, and I finally ported it and converted it over to YouTube. And it was fun. The technical expertise, you know, that was needed to do that project, it wasn't that steep. It was something that I could pick up fairly easily. I think one thing you'll notice, though, is that as the month progressed, you know, I became a much more knowledgeable and comfortable user. So actually, I think the actual quality of the videos got better. And I think from a presenter standpoint, I think I gained more confidence in terms of doing the actual presentation. You know, just like I'm doing this event at home right now on YouTube, going live. You know, you never know, you know, what the experience is going to be like and until you do it. And I felt in doing, you know, this very first go live on YouTube, you know, I felt like, okay, well, it's a new experience, but on the other hand, it's not rocket science. You know, other people have done it, you know, so if someone else has done it, that encourages me that I can do it. But whenever I do something, I always want to put my best foot forward, you know, and I realize that I'm not going to be an expert. There are some things that you're only going to learn from the benefit of experience. You know, in the aftermath of this very first go live on YouTube, I'm going to actually take a minute. You know, I'm going to replay this whole YouTube go live, and I'm going to look at what happened, what didn't happen. I'm going to take a look at what I learned and apply that going forward, you know, and I'm just going to become a better user, you know, and no one will ever, I think, accuse me of being shy, because to be honest, I'm not. You know, I don't have a shy bone in my body. You know, I have the, you know, the benefit of doing a lot of public speaking. But I'll tell you this, public speaking, you know, which, by the way, you know, is the number one fear that a lot of people have. You know, it's one of those things that I actually had, you know, decades ago. You know, it's just I've had a lot of experience with doing it. So I really don't have a lot of fear when it comes to public speaking. As long as I know what I'm talking about, you know, it doesn't matter whether I'm on a stage or whether I'm on TV. You know, if you know what you're talking about, you know, you pretty much can just mentally flip a switch. And I really can't explain it. You know, you just kind of go into the zone and you make it happen. And, you know, and that's what I'm looking to happen with this, you know, experience right here on YouTube. You know, this is my first YouTube go live session. You know, I'm not terrified, you know, of going on YouTube, but I do realize that this very first YouTube video go live, I'm not going to be as good as I'm going to be one day in the future. But I mean, that's part of learning. You know, it's the learning experience. You just, you know, you just have the desire to, you know, get your foot wet and to jump out there and just start, you know, and that's what this is. This is my first getting started, and I want to ensure that this women's shooting event that I'm doing this year on May 17th, a week after Mother's Day. Mother's Day is on Sunday, May 10th. So this women's shooting event is going to be on Sunday, May 17th. I want to put my best foot forward. I am shooting for, pardon the gun metaphor, I am shooting for 1,000 women. Last year we did 814. Okay, so we're doing it again this year. So instead of 814, let's do 1,000. Why not do 1,000? I could play it conservative and shoot for 900, but if you're going to do 900, I mean, you're so close to 1,000. I mean, just go for 1,000. Go for it. Let's see what else we got here. Wayne Thomas. If people would like to see teamwork, show up to this event and see how friends and family work together. And that is so very true. One of the things that you really experience with working with people, particularly with people that you've worked with before, there are going to be people at this event who are going to be working the event who, pardon the metaphor, this isn't their first rodeo. There are some people that have done this event multiple years, and there's going to be one guy, hopefully, if he shows up and he's a participant this year again, I'm not going to put him on the spot, but he actually was a volunteer the first 8 years of the program. And so, yeah, I'm subtly, hopefully he'll see this video and he'll take the hint that I'm looking for him to make this his 9th consecutive event. That will put him at a tie with me for being at the event the most consecutive years. He's been at this event this upcoming year. This will be 9 years. I know I'll be there. And you know what? I know he'll be there. But yeah, that's one of the great things about working this event is that, one, you get the satisfaction of a job well done. You've empowered people. You've given them some confidence. You've given them some skills. You've given them a great experience. Some people, that come in and they're pretty chill. They just didn't have a warm, inviting environment, to just stroll into a gun range, on their own. And they just needed that little nudge. And that's what this event does for people like that who need just a little nudge. But the other end of the spectrum, there are some other people who, going to a gun range and even though you're going to be one-on-one with the firearms instructor, and even though you're going to be given a very detailed range safety briefing, it's going to require, stepping outside of your comfort zone. And I'm really glad for those women who show up, because that means that the event, the people who are working the event, the way we marketed and promoted the event, we gave them just enough confidence to show up. And that's really ultimately the pledge that I make to people, and particularly to women. If you just have, just the courage, just the ability to get into a car and to make your way to the Top Gun gun range, after you have registered for the event, you received your confirmation by email, and you come for the shift that you registered for, just make it there. And if you make it there, trust me, I was about to say me, but me and the staff and the facilities and all the support people, we will literally take you by the hand and we will take it from there. Yes, you will be involved. Yes, you will be in a gun range. Yes, you will be in a shooting booth. Yes, you'll have on hearing protection and eye protection, and it will probably take you a minute, to get comfortable. And by getting comfortable, for some people, it's a little unnerving, to hear gunfire, that close. And sometimes, depending on how big the calibers are, people are shooting next to me, it might, make me jump. But we're talking about the people who are shooting the, the really big guns. And if someone's shooting a really big gun, and it might be, just only a few bays away from me, yeah, it might make me jump for a minute. But no matter how experienced you are, you're going to experience, a little bit of a jump, especially if a powerful handgun is next to you. But I said all that to say this. I realize that it can be a little intimidating, going to a gun range, probably for your very first time, and not having any experiences with the gun. And, I am very mindful that there are many people out there, and in some cases, many women that have not seen a real gun before. And to then say, hey, I'm going to take you and I'm going to put you in a booth, and you're going to handle this gun, and you're going to load this gun, and you're going to hold this gun, and you're going to aim it towards the target, and you're going to pull the trigger. I am not too far into this gun lifestyle that, believe it or not, I can still remember, that very first personal experience going to a gun range and shooting. I can still remember. And as a trainer, and I've heard one of, my trainers tell me, I really don't want to know what that, don't want to forget what that feels like. As a trainer, that's one of the things that keeps you grounded, because if you can still remember what it was like for you personally to make that trip into a gun range and to, strap on the safety equipment and to get the gun and to load it and to go into the booth and to hear all the other guns going off and still maintain a sense of decorum, a sense of calm, and to actually, trust that you loaded the gun correctly. I tell you, I still remember the first time loading the gun. I wasn't sure if I had loaded it right the first time. And of course, I loaded it correctly, but I wasn't sure if I loaded it correctly. And so I unloaded it, and then reloaded it to just make doubly sure that I was doing, the right thing. But, my whole experience with guns and going to the gun range, that's a separate story in of itself. And you know what? That could be a whole YouTube video one day down the road. But I really want to stay close to the focus of this video, which is, the women's event. And when it's going to be on Sunday, May 17th. And the registration is going to be on Sunday, May 10th. And the requirements to be a participant in the program, you just, have to be aware of the program, and you have to have the desire to go through the training. And by whatever it means it takes for you to get there, get there. If you got to bring, some friends with you, some family members with you, whatever, just get there. And if you get there, we will take you, literally, if necessary, by the hand, and we will take you through the process. And the process, we really leave no stone uncovered. We have more than adequate manpower, more than adequate firearms instructors. We have more than an adequate number of range safety officers who are making sure that all the safety rules are followed. We have good ammunition, which is going to be loaded into good quality, safe guns. and you're going to be one-on-one with the firearms instructor, in the booth. Literally what we're saying is you make it to the event, and we will make sure that you get everything you need. See, I got a couple of more comments here. Let's see. J Monty 1738 says, I gotta go, but I'm glad to catch you live. I'm subscribed, so keep pushing. Thank you. Yeah, well, J Monty, hey man, thanks for dropping by. Like I said, I for this very first, go live session, I didn't want to make too big of a deal out of it, but I did want to, literally, well, figuratively, get my feet wet and get an idea as to what the experience is like. I didn't want to just dive in full bore, and, publicize this event in a very ostensible fashion, pump it to, all throughout YouTube, with a scheduled time, pump it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and all that stuff, and not have an idea as to how this thing went. I just wanted to have a go, like a what they call it, a dry run. I wanted to get a feel for what that was like. And, even just, just firing up the web camera and speaking, even though, you're by yourself, but presumably, people will join in. And if that people are joining in and watching and participating, so you don't feel like you're totally alone. Now, had no one showed up, then that would have been a totally different experience, because then I would have to, put myself in a frame of mind that there was actually people out there listening. So I do have a little bit of pressure that there's some people out there who are listening and following along. And I'm very thankful for people, dropping in to check it out, because like I said, I had no expectations as to how this thing was going to go. I knew I had an agenda of action items that I wanted to cover. And I'm not even sure if I've talked about everything on my agenda items, but I don't have a very pressing social schedule this evening. So, I'm not, tied in where at a certain time, I just got to, jump off and get offline, but I'm not going to be on here on a, marathon, please save Rick. He's going to be online, until everyone leaves kind of thing. No, just no pressure, no expectations. Let's see, Wayne, when do you start registration for the event? Okay, so that's an important question. Registration will open on Mother's Day, and Mother's Day this year is on Sunday, May 10th. And then people are like, well, gee, Rick, why are you waiting until May 10th? Well, I just want to avoid no-shows. When you have people who sign up for an event, let's say we're into the early part of March 3rd, no less, which happens to be my brother's birthday. Happy birthday. But, you sign up on March 3rd for an event that's going to actually occur on May 17th. I mean, things happen, things called life. Anything could happen between now and the 17th, and if people were to sign up, say if I opened up registration today, and yeah, I could get all of the slots filled up, no problem. But I'm just looking at it from a realistic standpoint, that people who sign up today, there's that sense of urgency today that they're committed on this day today, March 3rd, that they're going to be there on, May 17th. I mean, I'm just a realist. I understand that things happen, and you could have the very best of intentions on being there on May 17th. If you were to sign up today on March 3rd, that's just way too much time. but I'm going to continue. There's still a whole lot of stuff I need to talk about, on my little action item, my agenda list here, to continue to do a good job of this very first informational session, on the event. But right now, I basically, I wanted to at least start the conversation about what's happening. What's happening is the 9th annual free firearms training event for women. And yeah, that's a mouthful in of itself. And I tell you, after 9 years, well, this will be the 9th year this year, I still haven't found like a good name for this event. But, maybe this will be the year I finally give it a formal name. Maybe not. We've done so good without a formal name. I think everyone is pretty much well used to, the general name. So yeah, registration is going to open on May 10th on Mother's Day. And some people are like, well, gee, Rick, why are you going to open up registration on Mother's Day? Mother's Day. I mean, come on, man, that's a holiday. And yeah, it is a holiday. But I mean, registration is only going to take like, a minute, if that, 30 seconds probably. Most people have cell phones. You can go to the web, on your cell phone. Most people, who have cell phones have access to the internet. Even those free phones, they still have access to the internet. You have a cell phone, internet access. On Sunday, May 10th, you're going to go to the publicized website. I haven't even created the registration link yet. We're so far ahead of the game. But on Mother's Day, at some point in time, I'm going to publish the link. And you just hit the link on Mother's Day. And registration will continue all the way until all the slots are occupied, until all the spots are taken. Well, that begs the question, well, gee, Rick, your goal is 1,000 women. Are you going to have just 1,000 spots? No, there's going to be some extra padding, some extra spots, because no matter what, no matter what, I tell people, look, don't sign up if there is even the remotest possibility that you won't be able to make the event. If there's the slightest chance that you won't be able to come, don't sign up, right? It's yes, I get it. It's a great event. It's a great experience. It's free. You're going to be safe. We're going to be giving away stuff. In my opinion, it is the place to be. I can't think of where else I would rather be on Sunday, May 17th than, at the women's event. Because I'll tell you one thing that I personally get out of it. One, I actually enjoy the actual event itself. I enjoy the mission of the event. I love what the event stands for. It's for empowering women and encouraging women to at least take that first step forward, to make sure that there's no barrier of entry, make sure that it's completely free of charge, make sure that I have appropriate facilities, making sure that I have appropriate manpower, and that I have an inviting environment for women. And as part of that environment, my chief training officer is going to be a woman, and she's going to lead all the training sessions. And then there's going to be a number of women who are actually going to be firearms instructors. And I have trained a number of women to be firearms instructors. And speaking of which, I'm not going to go into a lot of great detail about it, today. Just want to drop the hint or drop the message that is coming. Very soon, I'm going to be announcing a firearms instructor training event for women. Well, no, it's not going to be a firearms instructor event training for women. It's going to be a firearms instructor training class. So if you're a person who has a desire to be a firearms instructor, you will have the opportunity to sign up for my class. And it's some serious training. It's some very good training. And in my opinion, the National Rifle Association offers the best training. It offers the best curriculum. And in my opinion, the best firearms instructors. But, I'm biased. I'm biased. But in the years that I've been a training counselor, it's one of my greatest joys to actually train people to be firearms instructors. And the one great thing I can say about the event I offer is that you're literally at ground zero with the women's training event. If I train you as a firearms instructor, I'm going to know pretty much what your abilities are as an instructor. And well, gee, Rick, what does that mean? Well, I mean, if you are credentialed, you meet the bare minimum requirements, and the requirements, the way, that it was explained to me when I first became a firearms instructor. When someone goes through firearm instructor training, the bar is this: you have to attend all of the training sessions. You have to pass all of the specific modules of each training session by a numerical minimum score of 90% minimum score. We'd like for you to have 100%, but it's got to be 90% or better. You have to be at every training session. And also you have to have at least a demonstrated ability to present. And it is not lost on me that the number one fear that a lot of people have is public speaking. It's not lost on me. Even though I will tell you, as an individual, I don't have a shy bone in my body. All I ask is that if you're going to throw a mic in my face in front of a room full of people, that the things that I'm going to be speaking on is going to be something that I am familiar with. If I'm familiar with the material, it's almost like I'm on autopilot, and we'll just make it happen. But yeah, that's just a side note. There's going to be additional information coming out, and I'll probably even help publicize that firearms instructor training. Probably doing some go live, on YouTube Q&As. That sounds like a good, future project for me to do. But one thing at a time. The project that I'm working on right now is this free firearms training event for women. And that's where I'm putting my focus. And even in this initial presentation about women and training them for free, my sole point of going live today was, one, from a personal standpoint, I wanted to get some experience with going live, before I put the whole foot in. Right now I was just getting the big toe in. And I think I feel fairly confident, with how this thing works now. And I have an idea as to how to get it started, and I'll go promotion in a big way to get more people involved. But the one thing, and I'm nowhere near finished with today's agenda, but the one thing that I do want to impress upon you all who are visiting, who are dropping by, when this thing is over, whenever it ends, please forward this video, to your social media. Because here's one of the things that I know about my following on YouTube. YouTube is a platform, and it's a platform that gives its members a lot of demographics of its people on on the platform. I know the general age groups that my followers on YouTube are. Let me tell you, middle-aged men are like 75% of my demographic on YouTube. right? So I'm going live on YouTube, and my principal demographic is men of middle age, my age, you know. And here's my challenge. I'm here on my platform on YouTube, which is decidedly male, decidedly middle-aged, publicizing a women's event. So that tells me that to get this event out, I'm going to need to do some promotion outside of YouTube to at least funnel people over to YouTube and be part of this process. And I'm going to need women to be part of those people that I reach to funnel them over to YouTube. Now, I might even do some go live equivalents on Facebook, or I've even seen some information where with one site you can actually broadcast on both Facebook and YouTube simultaneously. And you know what? I think that's a neat trick. And one thing I do know about my demographic on Facebook is I know I definitely have more women following me on Facebook than I do on YouTube. But if I do a decent job of promotion, and I let everyone know, when I'm going to put more information out, and I'm going to actually schedule it ahead of time and send out reminders and Facebook alerts, I think I can do a decent job of getting a decent number of people, aware of this event. And one more, another cough, but that's okay. I'm not sick. It's a mental thing. I am not sick, right? I was a little under the weather, for about a week, a few days ago, but I am better. I'm good. I am not sick, right? It's a mental game, but see what else we got here. Let's see. John Olasinki, tell your brother I said happy birthday and many, many more. Yeah, I did call my brother and I wished him a happy birthday. I talked to him over the phone and asked him what was he doing and everything. And he said he's doing well and he's having a good day, and I guess his dreams or wishes have come true or maybe they're appropriately scaled. I'm not for sure, but he's having a good day. He then chided me for not attending his birthday party. And I'm like, birthday party? What do you mean birthday party? He's like, I posted it on my YouTube channel. And I'm like, dude, I'm your brother. If you want me at your birthday party, call me, text me, say, hey, man, I'm having a birthday party. I would sure like for you to be there. And you know what? I would have been there. But relying on me to see your Facebook post of your birthday party, well, I'm not bragging or anything, but I have like a crowded timeline. And that's the other thing. Facebook doesn't let you see everybody that you're friends with on Facebook. They only let you see like some fraction of people. So even though I posted on my Facebook timeline, let's say, for example, if I posted on my Facebook timeline that I was going to have, like a Facebook Live, everybody I'm connected to won't see it. It's part of the business model that they have. You're connected to people on Facebook, but they still want you to pay them more money to promote your event to your friends on their website. And yeah, and that's something else I can look at. I've made an action item to look at it. Do I, want to get into, raising funds to, spend on marketing and promotion on the Facebook platform? Because even though I may be friends with you on Facebook, and let's say I promote this women's event every day, that doesn't mean that every person I'm friends with is going to see it. So I'm going to, at least right now, count on doing more announcements, more go lives, more social media, more interviews, more of everything. I have the email addresses of everyone that has registered, within the last so many years, you know, uh, compile and extract all of these email addresses and put them in a big giant email list, and send out regular ongoing emails and send them the link to the event page. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to do everything that I could conceivably come up with to promote this event. If there's something that I'm not, keeping in mind with regards to promoting this event, I don't claim to be the greatest promoter that ever existed. If you have a platform, if you have a YouTube channel and you regularly interview people and you have an audience, and if you want to invite me on to your YouTube channel to, talk about this women event, okay, let me know. If you have a radio show and you want to book me as a guest, by all means, invite me to be a guest on your show. As a matter of fact, if there is a program, whether it's on social media or whether it's a broadcast on a real live radio station or TV show or webcast or podcast that you're familiar with, that you listen to on a regular basis, and you think that there's some synergies, between their platform and the event that I'm trying to accomplish, call that host up, call up the producers, suggest me as a guest. I'm willing to go on to an unprecedented number of shows, whether it's on social media, whether it's on broadcast TV, broadcast radio. I want to do something that's never been done before. I want to train 1,000 women on how to shoot in one day. And if you're trying to do something that has never been done before, then the way I look at things, then you have to be prepared to do things you have never done before. And, just in that vein, I was on a conference call Sunday early evening with some members of the committee that's putting on this event. Yeah, I'm the creator of the event, but as I stated before, I can't do everything. This event is so big. The only way this event can happen is if I have trusted volunteers and individuals who are willing to assume leadership positions and to accept volunteer posts. And one of those people, his job is to oversee, I'm talking about Ross Palmer, is to oversee the standardization and the training agenda of women in the shooting booth. That's his sphere of responsibility. All I ask is, keep me in the loop, keep me abreast of what's going on. If there's a meeting, make sure I'm a part of it. And I can offer whatever feedback I can on whatever it is that you have planned. And the communication, it isn't one way, it's two way. If there's something you need as a resource from me, then as the event promoter, then it's up to me to do what I can to make those things happen. And yes, I was given some action items, things that I've been asked to do. And those things that I've been asked to do are outside of the scope of what I wanted to talk about today. I'll make those the subject of their very own YouTube Go Live or Facebook Live event. As a matter of fact, I think the next one I do, depending on how motivated I am to get my study on, to get some learning done, I'll probably, no guarantees, I will probably make the next one, like I said, if the learning curve isn't too steep, how to make the next one both simultaneously occur on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. And here's the thing. I'm not necessarily looking to be the one to reinvent the wheel. If you got some experience with simulcasting on both YouTube and Facebook at the same time, hey, contact me, and tell me what it is I need to know to make that happen. But like I said, I'm trying to do something with this women's event that's never been done before. As we've made history, already. 814 women trained in one day. Well, I'm trying to remake history bigger and better. I want to do 1,000 women, and some people are like, man, where's the upper limit to this thing? I don't know. But my goal is to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and to see how far we can go. There's even been, suggestions that at some point, if I keep growing this event, this women's free shooting event, that at some point in time that, it may eventually outgrow, the current facility that we have, and that you need to start looking at, well, how are you going to start growing past just this one location? I've heard people suggest to me, man, you might want to go across multiple days or multiple locations, maybe have a Metro Detroit location, maybe do one out in the Jackson area, maybe do one in the Flint area, maybe do one up. At least when it was first proposed to me, it seemed a little, far-fetched. It did at first, but that's usually the type of reaction that you'll get when someone is proposing something that is a huge deal. It's a huge event. It's a huge project. Just doing this event at one location, it's a huge project, and just the idea of doing it in multiple locations, that increases the level of complexity of this project, several times. But like anything else, it all starts with a thought. And as you think about it and you muse over it and you figure out, well, what type of resources you're going to need, what type of buy-in you're going to need, what type of skill set, what type of volunteers you're going to need. If you're truly committed to making it happen, it will find a way to get done. And so, going forward, this is way outside the scope of what I wanted to talk to today, but going forward at some point in time, this event will grow beyond, just this one location. That's just the nature of the thing, and as, resources have been increased, so will the accommodations. If they show up, I'm going to train them. If the number of people that desire to be trained is greater than I can accommodate at one facility, the sheer project itself, is going to force me to continue, and one day going forward, yeah, it'll be multiple locations. It won't be this year, probably won't be next year. But at some point in time, I need to start entertaining, that conversation. Let's see. Got research first, then react. Says, hello, brother Rick. I got 2 women that want to join your class. Okay. If you're talking about this free women's shooting event, by all means, that free women's shooting event will be on Sunday, May 17th. Registration is going to open on Sunday, May 10th. The registration links will be on all my social media platforms. I'm telling you, anywhere that you're connected to me, you will see that, whether it's on my Facebook, Rick's Firearm Academy Detroit fan page, whether it's at DetroitCCW.com, whether it's on my YouTube, the channel we're on now, whether it's on, every place that every place that I have a presence, it will be published. And I have a lot of different social media platforms. If you say you got 2 women that want to join my class, you're talking about my regular concealed pistol license training class, then we can do that too. Give me a call. I can be reached, not necessarily right now, but, let's say sometime tomorrow, give me a jingle. My phone number, it's everywhere. I'm telling you, in case you somehow don't have it, give me a call at 313-733-7404. And I'd be honored to be entrusted with the CPL training of some family members or friends that you are sending my way. It's what I do, and I do a good job at it. But going back to what we were talking about before, the what? It is the 9th annual Free Women's Shooting Event. That is the what. Why am I doing it? The why is to empower women. Going back to that very first news item I saw on the news about a woman whose body was discarded on the street as if she was trash. Yeah, the implication is if they discarded her body, they killed her. Yeah, they killed her. And of course, she had already been assaulted in a variety of different ways. And I saw that event, and it was the motivation. It was the genesis of this women's free shooting event. And with the aid of literally a handful of firearms instructors that very first time out, 9 years ago, we trained women. And this event has grown over and over and over every year. And it has sufficiently grown that this 9th year, we are sufficiently emboldened to set as our goal to train 1,000 women in one day. And by doing that, we're talking about bringing them in to the gun range, Top Gun over in Taylor. They need to register on Mother's Day, and they'll receive their e-ticket, in the email, and they can either print it out if they still have printers. I know a lot of people don't own a printer. I personally, gave up the printer, blowing money on ink. If you don't print enough, then the ink goes bad. And, ink, I'm not saying, it's expensive, but I just hate throwing stuff out. But, or you could just send it to your email. And if you have a cell phone with internet access, I can't imagine too many people not having that. You can just show that email, on your cell phone, show it, and you'll be admitted. I only ask that you come to the, time slot that you sign up for. The only way that I could manage a program, of this size and of this scale is to manage it. Can you imagine if I told 1,000 women to show up at one gun range at, say, on the 17th at 9:00? Can you imagine the pandemonium, the level of disorganization? Can you imagine the number of dissatisfied people who come and literally spend, 6-7 hours in line, just to get a seat, to be trained, and then to be subjected to a long, slow moving line, to then meet up one-on-one with a firearms instructor? That would just be a scheduling, planning, organization from hell. Nah, I can't do that. What I envision is this system that I created. There will be multiple sessions that will go on throughout the day. They'll be in 2 or 3 hour blocks. On the date of registration, Mother's Day, you'll follow that link that'll be published everywhere. You'll click it and you will sign up for one of the 5 or 6 sessions. All I ask is that you make up your mind what session you want to attend and that you be at that session. One of the things that I tell you that becomes a management resource, and I tell you, I don't have a lot of manpower dedicated towards, registering people for a specific section and then moving them to another time period. You're talking about 1,000 women. Let's just say worst case scenario, 1,000 women have committed to coming to this training program. 1,000 women signed up. And let's say for whatever reason, I'm just having a bad day. All 1,000 women want to be in a different training section than the one they registered for. Right? Can you feel my pain? That would be a management nightmare and would ultimately end up with the scenario I don't want to have. Although I want to train 1,000 women across the day, I don't want 1,000 women to show up at the same time. That would be a management nightmare. I want this event to be emblematic of the smooth running machine that it has become to be known for this will be the 9th consecutive year. It should run like a dream. We already know the date registration opens. I will publish the links on Mother's Day on the 10th. If you have a desire to be at this event, just sign up for a link. There will be enough links for people to sign up. And you know what? Eventually, at some point in time, this event will, and I'm going to use the phrase sell out, but it's not a true sellout because I'm not selling any tickets. The registration is free. The training is free. The stuff we're giving away, by definition, is free. Gun Owners of America, God bless them. They're going to be in the house, and they gave out caps. I believe they're going to give out baseball caps, and I think they're going to outdo themselves and give away another thing. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag as to what additionally they're going to give away, but they're going to give away stuff. And presumably, if this thing goes the way I imagine it's going to go, I got an early jump on it in terms of marketing and promotion. There will probably be some other giveaways, so there'll be sufficient motivation for people to come. I mean, if only for, the free training, one-on-one with the firearms instructor, a gun will be provided to you, free ammunition, one-on-one in the booth, your training, your safety will be assured. We're going to give you some stuff, and I'll probably even have some legally armed in Detroit t-shirts for sale. The challenge that I have come up against is, that whole management process of how many shirts to bring, how many, people are telling me they want sweatshirts this year. So, how many sweatshirts do I bring? Do I try to have an online ordering system, or do I just do my best guess as to people who are going to show up, what percentage are going to want this stuff, and what sizes I'm going to need them in, But I'm all into systems now. I'm going to try to, utilize systems as best I can. But like I said, this thing is a well-oiled machine. There's a lot of dedicated people, a lot of folks who are having a lot of meetings to make sure that this thing goes smoothly. And you know what? I have every assurance that even though there's going to be an unprecedented 1,000 women trained in one day, it's going to run as smoothly as it has ever ran. because I have a serious team. I mean, a great squad of people who have totally bought into this event, and they believe in the event, and they want the event to be successful, and they want to continue to see this event grow as I have, wanted to see this event grow. Let's see, what else was he saying? Research first, then react says, okay, cool. And says, it's an honor to have you around, brother. Hey, well, thank you very much. I truly appreciate that. I'm very fortunate in that the years that I've been a firearms trainer, that one of the things that I've been able to do is to meet a lot of people, and I've been able to help a lot of people. Sometimes, I meet people, on their worst possible, moment of their life thus far. They've been victimized. They've been hurt, robbed, beat, stabbed, hospitalized, have endured some type of traumatic event. And the fact that they came to me, they did their research, and they decided, hey, I want you to train me. I want you to be that person, to teach me firearm safety, to teach me how to be safe with a gun. I want you to be that person to teach me how to shoot. I never cease to be honored at the choice that my students have made, that they like what I do, and they bought into what I'm doing, and that they like my approach. I'll be the first to say I don't do things the way everybody else does it. And for every firearms instructor you find out there, there's a lot of trainers that, there's an equal number of ways that they like doing things. I have my way of doing things. If I could choose, and I'm not, kicking dirt on anybody else, I just know, I know how I prefer to operate. I would rather structure the classes in such that the number of people in the class was what I consider to be manageable, and what other people define manageable to be. That's on them. Me, I don't know, an ideal number anywhere up to 15 people, I would say, would be manageable. Once you start getting beyond 15 people, then in my opinion, there's some other things that comes into play. And whether we're talking about resources or, comfort in terms of, people feeling comfortable and raising questions and voicing concerns, it's a trade-off. And every trainer has a different way of doing things. And I'm not going to say that I do things, best. I know I do things that are best for me. And I think that the way that I provide classes and the way I train, it works best for me, and it's the way I prefer operating. But I tell you, after all these years, it's still fun. I still get a kick out of empowering people. I still enjoy meeting people. And I'll tell you, the environment in which the classes that I teach, they are such that many of my students, they elect to join me in social media and to follow me and to engage me in social media. They support me in other projects. And if I have an event or a speaking gig or speaking engagement, they'll come out and see me speak and put, a face, to the name and shake my hand and put us on that path to becoming, friends for real. And that's not to say that there's a line of demarcation that exists between people I've met, in person versus people that I network with online with. It's different. There are people that I've been networking with regularly on an ongoing basis online for, better than 15 years, 10 years. And we've never met, but I feel, I feel close to those people. You know, is it more so than people that I've met in person? I mean, it's a different type of dynamic. But I'll tell you, I like definitely being able to put a face to a name. And if that dynamic continues over a period of time, I mean, it's only natural for, you to become that person's friend, that person become your friend. And projects that you're involved with, they're looking to support you. And I tell you, if you are a friend of mine, I can't think of a better way, to be a friend is to support me in this event. And one of the best ways you can support me in this event is to contact every person that you know and to tell them about this project. Tell them about this women's training event. Yeah, it's early. I get it. I know. But the earlier I get the word out, the more of an opportunity I have to at least get the conversation started. I can at least get some promotion done. I can at least make people aware of this project, why we're doing it, and why it's so very important. And really, it might sound kind of, boring, but I can't do this. I can't do this event without you. I can't. I cannot do this event by myself. Cannot. Even if I was the most antisocial, stubborn person in the world, I could not do this event by myself. So I tell you, which is why I am truly indebted to the people that work with me on this project, the people who donate their time, when they can, for however long as they can, to ensure that we have the facilities, to ensure that we have the supplies, to ensure that we have the manpower, to ensure that we have the inducements and the giveaways to, get as many people as possible to the event. And I tell you, if I'm trying to break my record, last year was 814, and if I am truly, truly committed to training 1,000 women this year, then that means more has to be done. And the marketing and the promotion of this event, that has to be number one. Has to be. And that means that I need to get the word out. So I need to get the word out more so than I have in the past. And I've already have started taking the first step towards making that happen. This very first Go Live event on YouTube, he's telling me your connection is unstable. Please wait until we try reconnecting. Hopefully you can still see me and hear me. Okay, yeah. We may have experienced a hiccup there. The internet isn't as great and as fast as it always is, but yeah, just to reiterate what I was talking about before I had that little slowdown on my connection. There is no way that I can do this event by myself. Nope, can't do it. I mean, just the logistics of training 1,000 people, where in the world am I going to train 1,000 people? It has to be at a gun range, but I tell you, I can't train 1,000 people by myself. Yes, I am a trainer. Yes, I am a firearms instructor. Yes, I am an instructor of instructors. I'm a training counselor. I can't train 1,000 people by myself. Can't do it. I mean, even if I had the time and the facilities, just me, myself personally, if you figure how many hours it would take to train 1,000 people, that would take a long time. But, one of the great things about social media, man, is that, you have the opportunity to, meet people and to befriend people and to use their resources, their time, their energy, their enthusiasm to help you do great things. And I'll tell you, there are individuals out there who can do wondrous, great, awesome things by themselves. But I'll tell you, they truly compare what an individual can do working in conjunction with other people as part of a team. And I'll tell you, I have a serious team. I have partners, people who are supplying the resources, the gun range who's supplying the range, fellow firearms trainers who are helping me train. I got support staff, people, what? I'm going to have people do things, on it. If you look at it, it's like the project that I'm going to give them, it's going to be one little small project. And let's say, for example, I might have a couple of people whose job is to just hand out safety glasses and to make sure I get those safety glasses back. And if, the participants in the program, they don't want to, use the free safety glasses that other people have used. And here's the thing. I have one or two people who have solvent along with wipes and tissues. They actually clean those glasses. So, like I said, it's completely free. Now, if for some reason someone doesn't want to use, the safety glasses that someone else used, but someone else cleaned, because I had the manpower to do it, they can buy their own safety glasses. But, like I said, that's something above and beyond, the scope of my design for this project. The vision I have for this project is that I want it completely 100% free. And, to do that, I need to do things I've never done before. So let me make sure that I communicated clearly everything, because I believe in the power of repetition. Me, right? Me, my organization, my friends, my partners, we are going to do the what. The what is we're going to have a free firearms training event for women. And this event is going to happen on the date of Sunday, June 17th. It's going to happen throughout the day in a various different options of time. Participants in this program are going to have to register for a specific time period to be at the gun range. The dates of registration is different than the date of the event. 1 week before the date of the event, the registration process will open. Registration will open on Sunday, May 10th, sometime in the morning. I'm not sure exactly when it's going to open. It may open at 8 o'clock. It opens at 9 or 10. If you think it opens at noon and it's been open since 12, trust me, there'll be enough spots for you to register. Typically the event takes a while to sell out. And I use the term sell out loosely because everything is free. It's 100% free. But if you want to be a part of this event, typically there'll be enough spots for you to register. The only thing I ask is that if you sign up for this event, that you commit to going. And I realize that emergencies happen, things pop up. There are things that are unavoidable, things that are unforeseeable. And I get that. But, trust me, don't sign up for this event if you're not willing to commit to be there, in terms of the resources that are being consumed to put on this event. I can only do it once a year. And even though I've stated before, I'm going to entertain in the future going forward that we do it, multiple locations as we grow over time, given, a year or 2 or 3 years out in the future, when we get there, we will do it at multiple locations. We just haven't grown there yet, but we will get there, So here's the thing, this go live whenever it ends, it's going to be a recording and there's going to be a link to it. And I'm going to publicize the link everywhere I can. And I'm going to ask that you help me out by reposting this link on your personal pages. If only because, like I said, I'm on YouTube right now and I have like a huge male following on YouTube. Not very many women, for whatever reason, aren't partners or aren't friends, aren't connected to me on YouTube. That's something I got to look at programmatically to figure out how I can change that. But we will figure it out. You know, we will figure it out. Ultimately, I'm going to need to learn how to get more women on my YouTube channel. And maybe I need to start talking about other stuff to get women interested in joining me on YouTube. But one thing I'm going to look into is look at how to simultaneously post my YouTube go lives on Facebook. It can be done. I just have to, invest the time to make that happen. But look, we've been going, oh man, it's been 2 hours. It's longer than I had planned, but you know me. If you let me talk, I will talk. But for those of you who are still hanging out, I truly appreciate it. But it's about time for me to let this go for now. The replay will be up and it'll be posted. And if you see it, repost it on your pages so people can play it and see everything that we talked about. And there will be more because I have a lot of information affecting a lot of different people. Like I'm going to have a go live event for volunteers, help this project succeed. So with that, I want to say thank you all for being a part of this project. This very first go live event, we've gone a couple of hours and some of y'all have been here the whole time. And I appreciate that. And I got some good questions, but we will do this again. Maybe even sooner than you think. Watch your announcements in social media. But I'm going to pack it in for this go live right now. But thank you very much for tuning in. And pass this video when I publish the link. Pass it along to your friends and let them know what they missed. All right. Take care. And you all have a great evening. So if I went 2 hours, right? Let's say I had an average. If I had an average of 2 people.
hours, I could have got